This is Joe's Corner 76. We will be discussing the human condition in all its phases. In order to change it, we have to be involved. In-person friendships. Do they really matter? Will they always matter? A lot of us spend a lot of time on our phones and social media. They supply our information, social connections, and convince us we have friends via the media. There is a real breakdown in personal communication, which is really where we see the change in facial expressions, the change in vocal expressions, and body language, which can really give you an indication of the other person's communication and intent. Instead, we use social media, and this means we're alone a lot. Friendship, at least in North America, is in retreat. Survey Center on American Life asked people how many close friends they had, not counting their relatives. The results showed a significant move from having many friends to having few, no friends. In 1990, 7% of people reported having 0 to 1 friend, a number that rose to 19% by 2021. Much research, including a 2018 article in the Journal of Population Sciences, demonstrates strong positive association between the quality and quantity of our satisfaction with our lives. So why are we neglecting this area? Let's consider virtual versus real friendships. The first and most obvious area of friendship neglect is screen time. A 2022 study indicates people between the ages of 8 to 20 are averaging somewhere around 8 hours a day in front of screens. It's clear that this must be displacing other activities in their lives, including and especially spending face-to-face time with their friends. Much of the time spent on the screen does involve engaging with other people, but these engagements have proven to be much shallower than in-person connections. They simply do not compare with the rich relationship strengthening power of an in-person interaction. Let's look at more detail about this point. What is it exactly about an in-person relationship that differs from the kind of relationship you can have virtually? Specifically, what benefits of an in-person friendship are essential for human thriving that can't be replicated online? Memories made with all our senses will always be more vivid and easily recalled. Most memories made online are made through sight and sound, but with an in-person interaction, you're more likely to engage your sense of smell, taste, and touch as well. Have you ever had a particular smell that you can take back to another time in your life? Then you know how powerful these senses can be, forming memories. Physical presence, particularly during tough times, provides reassurance that someone can comfort you. When you're feeling sad or afraid, there are few things more comforting than the embrace of a friend and their promise to walk with you. Words and images on the screen somehow seem somewhat inadequate for these moments. Good vibes and emotional energy easier to convey in person. Can you imagine trying to attend a virtual party? How would images and sounds from the screen ever compare with the energy and enthusiasm of a room full of people? People's personalities, their mannerisms are more intense in the flesh than they would be compared to a two-dimensional experience. In-personal relationships demand more and demonstrate a commitment to the relationship. It's great to call someone on their birthday or drop a text message to let them know you're thinking about them. But showing up in person and delivering these words expresses a deeper level of sincerity. You took time out of your day to show up, and that shows how much you value that person. Therefore, in-person visits will always more weight than a similar message sent virtually. It's easier to read someone's emotions and nonverbal responses when you're face-to-face. So much about a person's demeanor and emotional response is shown through the entirety of their physical presence, including their expressions, tone of voice, posture, and level of attention. When you're in a room with someone, these clues come alive in a way that is less obvious in a virtual video call-in, never mind text or phone call. Physically being with someone encourages spontaneous responses, interactions that isn't possible virtually. The medium of our exchange sets an expectation of how it unfolds. I find that going down interesting rabbit holes in a conversation is more natural in person than on the phone. In person, you might also try to drop the conversation and do something together, which often isn't an option virtually. Physical touch is an irreplaceable part of demonstrating affection. You might not think of yourself as a touchy-feely person, but you see how much value, if all physical touch was removed, you would be very alone. Everything from handshakes, fist bumps, high fives, arms around the shoulder hugs, and even more casual moments when you shoulder brushes against another. In many small ways and significant ways, physical touch brings people together and always has. Almost all digital activities can be enhanced by being in the same room. In-person friendships are great because they can be enhanced by digital technology. You can play video games or watch movies together. However, if your friendship is entirely digital, mainly through phone calls, text messages, and social media posts, there are many things in the physical world you cannot do together. For that reason, in-person relationships, while sometimes less convenient, are much richer and more profound. Our sense of trust is deeply tied to seeing people consistently show up and observing them over time. Trust is built more naturally when in person. Online conversations don't tell us everything about a person or adequately show how we feel about one another. In person, we watch them over time, see how they respond to different situations, and make observations about how they behave. This kind of organic knowledge happens naturally when you're around each other, but it's often lacking a more structured virtual communication. For all these reasons and many more, being together in person will always be more meaningful than meeting on screen or in a text. My challenge to you is to get back to impersonal relationships. Worth it. You can follow me on Facebook, X, and Instagram at Joe's Corner 76. You can hear me on Spotify and YouTube at Joe's Corner 76. If you enjoyed this podcast, tell your friends there are many more you can hear on Spotify and YouTube, Joe's Corner 76. I'd love you to subscribe to my channel, Joe's Corner 76 YouTube.